Every day, across towns and cities, there are seniors who live in homes that were once full of life, laughter, and love. But now, the rooms are quieter. They smile when you see them, they tell you they're fine on the phone, but behind those smiles are unspoken truths. Today, we're going to gently step into the world of Margaret, age 72. Through her eyes, we'll discover 5 secrets seniors living alone rarely share. Secrets that reveal both the weight they carry and the strength they still hold. This is not just Margaret's story, it's the story of millions of seniors who live behind closed doors. Margaret was once a schoolteacher, guiding classrooms full of children. She was married to her husband, Robert, for nearly 40 years. Together they raised 3 kids, now grown and living in different states. When Robert passed away, Margaret's life shifted. The house felt bigger. The days stretched longer. And though she filled her time with gardening, reading, and volunteering at church, she carried truths she rarely shared with anyone. Through Margaret, we'll uncover these 5 secrets, and perhaps see them mirrored in someone we love, or even in ourselves. Margaret says the hardest part of living alone isn't the cooking or cleaning. It's the silence. She admits, sometimes she leaves the TV running, not because she's watching, but because the sound of voices makes the house feel less empty. Some nights, she talks back to the news anchor, just to hear her own voice echo back. Silence is a strange thing. It can bring peace, but it can also become deafening. For seniors like Margaret, the quiet reminds them of what once was, and what's now missing. Research shows that prolonged silence, without social interaction, can affect mental health as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But seniors rarely admit that. They'll say, "Oh, I enjoy the quiet," when really, that quiet weighs on them more than they let on. Margaret recalls a night when she sat in her chair and realized she hadn't heard another human voice all day. Not even her own. That kind of silence can be crushing, and yet, she rarely tells anyone. Her home is full of memories. The wedding photo in the hallway, children's drawings still framed from decades ago, birthday cards tucked in drawers. Margaret says some days she finds strength in these memories. They remind her she lived a full, loving life. But other days, she quietly turns the picture frames face down. Because love and loss often lie side by side. This is a secret many seniors carry. Memories are both their greatest treasure and their greatest wound. Looking at them brings warmth, but also an ache that no one sees. Margaret once confessed that she sometimes dreams of her husband sitting in his favorite chair. When she wakes up, for a brief second, she believes he's still there. Then the truth rushes back. And so, she tells her children, "I'm fine." She tells neighbors she enjoys her hobbies. But in reality, her memories sometimes cut deeper than she admits. When her children call, Margaret always says the same words, "I'm fine." She doesn't mention the dizzy spell she had last week. She doesn't talk about the night she left the stove on. She doesn't admit she sometimes forgets whether she locked the door. Why? Because seniors often hide their struggles. They don't want to be seen as weak. They don't want to worry their families. And deep down, they fear being moved out of their home if they admit too much. So they downplay. They cover. They smile. And they say, "I'm fine." Margaret says she even practices sounding cheerful before answering the phone, so her kids won't worry. Think about that. A mother, protecting her children, even in her 70s. When Margaret was younger, touch was everywhere. Her husband's hand on her shoulder. Children tugging at her arms. Grandkids climbing into her lap. Now, she says what she misses most isn't conversation, it's touch. The warmth of a hug after dinner. A hand on hers during prayer. The closeness words can't replace. Scientists call it skin hunger, the deep human need for touch. And for many seniors living alone, it's the most unspoken secret of all. Margaret says sometimes she hugs her pillow at night, not because it makes the loneliness disappear, but because it reminds her she still craves human closeness. But she'll never tell her kids that. To her, it sounds silly, but it's real. She told me something surprising. Margaret lingers in the grocery store, not because she needs to, but because for those moments, she's surrounded by voices, laughter, people. She'll ask the cashier a question she already knows the answer to, just to extend the interaction. In public, she feels connected. In public, she pretends she belongs to the rhythm of life around her. And in that pretending, she feels, if only for a while, a little less alone. Margaret's 5 secrets are not really secrets at all. They're quiet truths, carried silently by millions of seniors living alone. So, if you know someone like Margaret, don't just wait for a holiday. Don't just say someday. Call them. Visit them. Hug them. Let them know they're not forgotten. Because behind every "I'm fine" is a heart that longs to be heard. If this touched you, share this video. Someone you love may need to see it today.